The following video is a work of fiction and is for entertainment purposes only. Troller discretion is advised.
Over the years, the makers of Call of Duty have given us some of the most immersive, enjoyable, and innovative multiplayer maps in gaming history. Call of Duty Origins is an original and unprecedented look at the unique histories and secrets of those very maps we conquer every day. Each one has an untold story. Each one has a life of its very own. Today, we head to the capital city of Germany for the story of Arkaden. Located in the heart of downtown Berlin is a newly constructed shopping center known as Das Arkaden. Complete with high-end retail shops, furniture outlets, and a beautiful restaurant with a direct view of the Berlin skyline, Arkaden has become a popular attraction for local citizens and tourists alike. Separating the shopping center from the nearby parks and businesses is the Dam River, a body of water that runs for miles throughout the entire region. Arkaden was gaining a reputation as a peaceful place where friends and family could gather and enjoy their time together. But unfortunately, things change. In recent months, the tension between the German and Russian governments had reached a boiling point. The Germans felt that an attack on Berlin may be imminent. They just weren't sure where or when. The day was July 16th, 2011, a warm Saturday morning in Berlin. As stores opened and families began to fill the mall, the Russian Spetsnaz made their move. Disguised as Charity Worldwide delivery men, they were able to bypass security and gain access to the rear entry of the shopping center. Once inside, they placed themselves strategically throughout the mall, waiting for further orders. And moments later, without warning, they opened fire. Men, women, children. No mercy was shown. No prisoners were taken. Unlike the events at Zakhaev International Airport, this time, the Russians let it be known that this attack was their doing. As local police began to arrive at the scene, the Russians made their way to their planned point of extraction. The damage was done. The message was delivered. The only thing left was to get out. The plan called for the Russians to regroup on the top level of the parking garage, where they would escape via helicopter and be taken back to their hideout. But, as we've established, things change. The evac Hind never made it to the extraction point. Less than 100 yards from its destination, the Russian Hind caught fire, and the pilot lost control. Within seconds, the chopper crashed directly into the side of the shopping center, splitting in two. The outdoor courtyard was filled with falling debris, and the Russians' sole means of escape was gone. As police reinforcements continued to arrive, the Russians knew they couldn't risk being captured. So they reverted to Plan B and took their own lives. In under 1 hour, Das Arkaden went from being a beautifully constructed shopping complex to a horrific, tragic, and broken location. But Arkaden wasn't the only target of a terrorist attack that day. More than a dozen locations across Berlin fell victim to a heinous assault. It was truly a declaration of war. Since that day, the mall has been closed indefinitely, and plans to tear it down are currently being discussed. All that will remain are the memories of the tragedy that struck the city of Berlin that day. Thank you for watching. Join me next time on Call of Duty Origins when we head to the largest metropolitan area in the United Kingdom and document one of the darkest days in world history. Take care. Can you guess which map is being documented in the next episode? Leave it in the comments below, and one person will be randomly selected to win a sub box for 1 week on my channel. I hope you enjoyed the video, and feel free to join me at youtube.com/DenkOps. I'll see you soon.
The following video is a work of fiction and is for entertainment purposes only. Troller discretion is advised.
Over the years, the makers of Call of Duty have given us some of the most immersive, enjoyable, and innovative multiplayer maps in gaming history. Call of Duty Origins is an original and unprecedented look at the unique histories and secrets of those very maps we conquer every day. Each one has an untold story. Each one has a life of its very own. Today, we head to Middleton Station in London, England, for the story of Underground.
There it is, sweetie. It's right there. Honey, are you getting this?
Daddy, look over here! Look at me, Daddy!
She is really hyper today. Sarah, don't go too far.
Birds! Look, Mommy, there's birds!
That's your daughter. You know she gets that.
October 6th, 2016. Russian terrorists simultaneously triggered chemical attacks across multiple European cities, London, England being one of them. The structure before you is Middleton Station, better known by its code name, Underground. After the chemical attacks were released, London police forces directed the citizens here in a desperate attempt to maintain order. Middleton Station soon became a safe haven for those fortunate enough to have been outside of the blast radius. Hundreds filled the station, the underground passageways, and the surrounding buildings, praying that they would awaken from this nightmare. Complete strangers from all walks of life, connected only by this tragic event, attempted to calm and console one another, hoping that the worst was behind them. But unfortunately, it wasn't. Just hours after the chemical attack, the SAS and London police forces received word that a nearby subway train had been hijacked by terrorists and was headed straight for Middleton Station. The British forces, led by Sergeant Marcus Burns, acted swiftly. They engaged the hijackers underground, causing part of the speeding train to detach and derail just as it was approaching the station. The high-speed crash caused the destruction you see before you. As police forces attempted to evacuate the citizens, the battle began. The surviving terrorists converged on Middleton Station and engaged the British forces. In the trains, on the walkways, and through the surrounding buildings, the deafening sound of gunfire echoed through the station. Though their opposition was well-trained and highly skilled, the British forces had home field advantage. The battle began to weigh heavily in the favor of the SAS, and before long, they managed to eliminate all opposing forces in the area and secure the station. Though this battle was won, the British forces could hardly call this a victory. Hundreds of lives were lost, and further attacks were triggered all throughout Europe. The City of London now must deal with the aftermath of the worst terrorist attack since the 2005 bombings. And the battle at Middleton Station will forever be known as a victory for none. Thank you for watching. Join me next week on Call of Duty Origins when we head back in time to April 1986 to document an area with a tragic past. Can you guess which map is being documented in the next episode? Leave it in the comments below, and one person will be randomly selected to win a sub box for 1 week on my channel. I hope you enjoyed the video, and feel free to join me at youtube.com/DenkOps. I'll see you soon.
The following video is a work of fiction and is for entertainment purposes only. Troller discretion is advised.
Over the years, the makers of Call of Duty have given us some of the most immersive, enjoyable, and innovative multiplayer maps in gaming history. Call of Duty Origins is an original and unprecedented look at the unique histories and secrets of those very maps we conquer every day. Each one has an untold story. Each one has a life of its very own. Today, we document one of the most disastrous accidents in world history for the story of Fallen. April 26th, 1986. Pripyat, Ukrainian SSR. At approximately 1:23 a.m., as the citizens of the area you see before you were sound asleep, a horrific and disastrous event was occurring. Just outside the city of Pripyat, a nuclear power station had suffered a catastrophic accident. An explosion had erupted in one of the main reactors at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, causing an enormous amount of radioactive material to escape into the atmosphere. The fallout spread over large populated areas of the Western Soviet Union and Europe, in what's considered to be the worst nuclear power plant accident in history. Which brings us here, a small urban area only a few miles from the power plant, featuring a number of small shops, apartment complexes, and manufacturing centers. This large courtyard was a very popular spot for friends and neighbors to meet and spend an afternoon together. And just a short walk away was a small playground for the children that resided in the area. But none of these people were aware of the danger that was steadily approaching, and it wasn't until 24 hours later that they were first informed of the accident, and shortly after, ordered to evacuate. For the attention of the residents of Pripyat, the City Council informs you that due to the accident at Chernobyl Power Station in the city of Pripyat, the radioactive conditions in the vicinity are deteriorating. Please keep calm and orderly in the process of this short-term evacuation. Families packed up as quickly as possible and made their way out of the area. But for some, it was already too late. 31 deaths had been directly attributed to the initial accident, and it's estimated that the death toll from high-level radiation exposure would reach nearly 4,000. Overall, approximately 100,000 square kilometers had been contaminated with the nuclear fallout. and the conditions of the area deteriorated rapidly over the coming years. Longtime fans of the franchise are well aware that 10 years later, in this very city, the British government authorized the assassination of one Imran Zakhaev in one of the most memorable operations in Call of Duty's history. As we move forward to present day, almost 3 decades after the accident, many landmarks have been reopened as tourist attractions where people can come and learn of the events of that fateful day. But the area that many families once called home is now nothing more than a ghost town. A place that has been deserted, vandalized, and all but forgotten. And a region that has truly fallen from grace. Thank you for watching. Join us every Wednesday for new episodes of Call of Duty Origins here on Machinima Respawn. Next week, on a special edition of Call of Duty Origins, we switch gears and visit a Treyarch favorite with an explosive You know what? I'll just tell you. It's Nuketown, bitches. I hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to join me at youtube.com/DenkOps. I'll see you next time.
The following video is a work of fiction and is for entertainment purposes only. Troller discretion is advised.
Welcome to Call of Duty Origins, an original and unprecedented look at the unique histories and secrets of the many multiplayer maps we conquer every day. Each one has an untold story. Each one has a life of its very own. Today, in a special edition of Call of Duty Origins, we visit the infamous American nuclear testing site known simply as Nuketown. Nuketown is a secluded government site where the American military tests its newly developed nuclear weaponry. Inspired by a scene from 2008's Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, the design is based on a suburban American neighborhood in order to test the effects of a nuclear explosion within a residential area. At least, that's what Treyarch wants us to think. But I've uncovered the real truth behind this so-called nuclear testing facility. And today, I intend to share with you the legend of what really happened in this beautiful suburban development. I've gone to great lengths to obtain this information, and I must warn you, after I reveal the truth to you, neither of us will be safe. So now, I present to you the real story of Nuketown. Located in southern Nevada is a beautiful and secluded gated community miles outside of any populated areas. The development was built specifically for those who wanted to get away from the noisy, overcrowded cities and enjoy a quiet, peaceful surrounding. Since the area was so small, most families became very close friends. They would often join each other for dinner, and the kids would enjoy playing together underneath the warm sun. But no one really liked the O'Briens. They were f***ing assholes. The large 2-story yellow house was occupied by the Woods family. The interior was recently remodeled to give the home a more updated look. While across the street, the Mason family enjoyed more subtle tones and historical art, such as these beautiful portraits of Presidents George Washington and William something, and never passed up the opportunity to catch up on some light reading.
It tickles my special place.
Each morning, the school bus would take the long trip to pick up and drop off the children of the area. While the men were off at work, the women were cleaning the homes, tending to the gardens, and slaving away in their kitchens, as they damn well should be. Perhaps the most breathtaking sight in the entire neighborhood is this beautiful... Whoa, that's a full rainbow, all the way. Double rainbow, oh my God. It's a double rainbow all the way. Oh, it's so intense. Whoa. Sorry. Where was I? Oh, right, the shocking part. But this calm and peaceful serenity wouldn't last forever. And the residents had no idea of the horror that awaited them. Just over these hills, at a secret government facility, the military was quietly working on a new vaccine that would allow them to cure any human ailment and extend their lifespan by almost 30 years. It was revolutionary, it was life-changing, and it was untested. The government needed subjects, but due to the nature and the complexity of what they had developed, public health officials denied their request for human trials. So they decided to take matters into their own hands. The following morning, they released a concentrated amount of the vaccine into the town's water supply and intended to monitor the results over the course of a few days. To them, it seemed like a necessary, albeit risky, move. But no one was prepared for what would happen next. Within 24 hours, the residents began to feel strange. Hallucinations and horrible headaches struck the people of the town, and it became clear that a terrible mistake had been made. As time went on, their conditions worsened. The residents suffered severe loss of skin pigmentation, major joint stiffness, and involuntary urination. Many began walking the streets in a trance-like state. Others secluded themselves in their homes, and some even tried to go about their day. But legend has it that exactly 72 hours after initial exposure, every muscle in their bodies became paralyzed, and all cognitive function was lost, turning the residents to cold, pale, lifeless statues. The government needed to act swiftly to cover up their horrific mistake, so they broke the following story. A nuclear leak has contaminated a small suburban development in southern Nevada. The citizens were unable to evacuate in time and are currently being held under observation. No further information is available at this time, but the situation is said to be under control. All documents and records relating to those who occupied these homes were destroyed. And a few weeks later, the government declared the area would be turned into a nuclear testing facility. The cover-up was complete, and the public was none the wiser. So now you know the ugly truth. The truth that I've gone to great lengths to share with you today. So the next time you happen upon Nuketown, before the doomsday clock strikes 0, take a second to examine the mannequin-like figures throughout the area. Because you just may come to realize not everything is what it seems. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this special edition of Call of Duty Origins, and be sure to join us every Wednesday here on Machinima Respawn for new episodes. Next week, Call of Duty Origins jumps back on the grid as we head to Sierra Leone. I hope you enjoyed the video, and feel free to join me at youtube.com/DenkOps. I'll see you soon.
The following video is a work of fiction and is for entertainment purposes only. Troller discretion is advised.
Welcome to Call of Duty Origins, an original and unprecedented look at the unique histories and secrets of the many multiplayer maps we conquer every day. Each one has an untold story. Each one has a life of its very own. Today, we head into the heart of America for the story of Overwatch. Standing 80 stories above the city of New York is the massive structure you see before you. For the past few months, workers have spent countless hours tirelessly constructing the top level of the skyscraper. Two of the major attractions currently under construction are this high-end restaurant complete with indoor and outdoor seating, and a state-of-the-art walkway with a transparent floor, allowing for a breathtaking view 80 stories down. The dangers of working atop a building this tall were extreme. Each day, these workers put their lives at risk, as one wrong step or miscalculation could mean certain death. The city had spent millions of dollars to ensure the workers would have all the necessary equipment needed to complete this beautiful structure. But unbeknownst to the construction workers and the city of New York, the cost in the end would be far greater. Tuesday, August 16th, 2016. As the sun began to set and the workers finished up their daily tasks, something in the distance caught their attention. An enormous military plane was deploying paratroopers into downtown New York City. The workers dropped everything they were doing and stared in awe at this incredible sight. But their admiration soon turned to horror when they realized they were looking at a large Russian aircraft. The workers quickly packed up their things and attempted to get out of the area as quickly as possible. But just moments later, a second group of Russian paratroopers landed right in the middle of the construction site. While some were unable to successfully make the jump, the rest positioned themselves around the area and proceeded to gun down the innocent workers who were unable to escape in time. The Russians were locking the area down. Another aircraft arrived to drop weapons, explosives, and ammunition to the Spetsnaz forces. The attack on New York City had begun. From their position of advantage, the Russian forces were able to dictate the desired targets over their communication devices, and the deadly assault was well underway. The citizens in the streets below were fleeing for their lives, attempting to dodge the incoming attacks and falling debris. And before long, New York City was a war zone. Buildings burned, lives were lost, and if the Russians were not stopped, New York would be taken, and the tide of this war could drastically change. But now, the only question that remains: which side are you on? Will the Americans be able to regroup and regain control of New York? Or will the Russians succeed in destroying the heart of our nation? That choice is yours. Thank you for watching. Join us every Wednesday for new episodes of Call of Duty Origins here on Machinima Respawn. Next week, Call of Duty Origins will haunt you. I suggest you say your prayers. I hope you enjoyed the video, and feel free to join me at youtube.com/DenkOps. I'll see you soon.
The following video is a work of fiction and is for entertainment purposes only. Troller discretion is advised.
Welcome to Call of Duty Origins, an original and unprecedented look at the unique histories and secrets of the many multiplayer maps we conquer every day. Each one has an untold story. Each one has a life of its very own. Today, our journey takes us to this beautiful Greek monastery that we call Sanctuary. Call of Duty Origins has documented many tragic events over the past number of weeks, but this story is far different. It's not a story of tragedy or a story of triumph. our story today enters the realm of the supernatural. Let's start from the beginning. By definition, a monastery is a community of persons, especially monks, bound by vows to a religious life and often living in partial or complete seclusion. These individuals commit their entire lives to their beliefs, binding themselves to their cause, a feat that takes great strength and dedication. This location was ideal for a monastery, high atop a string of mountains, almost suspended in air, secluded from the outside world. The architecture throughout the area is nothing short of awe-inspiring. Buildings and statues constructed hundreds of years ago, still standing tall today. It's very common for a small number of shops to be scattered throughout the community, all maintained by those who lived here and funded by other organizations within the religion. Perhaps no one building in the entire area was more beautiful than the interior of the main church. The walls were filled with immaculate artwork and depictions of religious figures. Whether you or I consider ourselves to be religious, spiritual, or non-believers, it's hard to deny the true beauty of this astonishing construct. Of all the areas we've visited thus far, Sanctuary is arguably the most visually appealing. But underneath the peaceful surroundings and beautiful scenery lies a terrifying secret. One warm afternoon, one of the monks who resided in the monastery was on his way to church for his daily prayer when he thought he heard a strange noise coming from the cemetery. He made his way over to the large statue in the center of the graveyard and listened very closely, but heard nothing. But as he continued towards the church, he heard it once more, much clearer than before. It was the sound of a child's laughter. He informed others of what he had heard, but no one believed him, until they examined it for themselves. Some say they heard the laughter of a child, while others claimed it was the voice of an older woman. The people were not fearful of what they had heard, and were convinced it was nothing more than a peaceful attempt of spiritual contact. But the events that followed over the coming days would change their minds. One late afternoon, while a small group of residents were praying within the church, a loud noise startled them. One of the pews had knocked over on its own, and as they came over to examine it more closely, the familiar sound of laughter filled the room. The candles began to flicker, the windows shattered, and the entire church shook violently. Everyone knew it was no longer safe here. When word spread to others in the area, they gathered their belongings as quickly as possible and abandoned the monastery, never to return again. To this day, the monastery remains abandoned, and the supernatural activities within the church will forever stay with those who witnessed it. But should you decide to visit this beautiful Greek monastery high atop the mountains, I would advise you to not disturb the central gravesite, because you might not like what you find. Thank you for watching. Join us every Wednesday for new episodes of Call of Duty Origins here on Machinima Respawn. There's not too much I can tell you about next week's episode without giving it away, but I will say this. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. I'll let you think about that one. I hope you enjoyed the video, and feel free to join me at youtube.com/DenkOps. I'll see you soon.
The following video is a work of fiction and is for entertainment purposes only. Troller discretion is advised.
Welcome to Call of Duty Origins, an original and unprecedented look at the unique histories and secrets of the many multiplayer maps we conquer every day. Each one has an untold story. Each one has a life of its very own. Today, we head to Mogadishu, Somalia, for the story of Bakaara. The map's design is based off the real-life Bakaara market in Somalia, created in the early 70s. During the Civil War, it became the largest small arms and weapons market in the continent. A few notable locations within the market include a youth center, the Kano Hotel, and the Martior restaurant. On the outskirts of the market is a large shipping dock used for importing and exporting a number of weapons and agricultural goods. Gunfire can often be heard throughout the area, as shoppers test the weapons before purchase, which led to the market receiving the nickname Sky Shooter. Over the years, the Bakaara market has seen its fair share of vandalism, fires, and outbreaks of violence, which often led to the destruction of various sections of the region. But let's turn the clocks back to October 1993 and the infamous Battle of Mogadishu. Task Force Ranger, consisting of a tactical assault force made up of U.S. Army Delta Force and Ranger teams, set off on a mission to capture Somali warlord Mohammed Farah Aidid. During the operation, 2 American Black Hawk helicopters were taken out by hostile RPG fire. One went down just a few hundred yards away, but one crash-landed directly in the middle of the market. Though the helicopter was mostly destroyed, the mounted minigun remained fully functional, allowing the surviving soldiers to defend themselves after the crash. The battle continued into the following day. A task force was sent to rescue the wounded soldiers near one of the crash sites, and they were able to evacuate the survivors. Overall, 19 American soldiers were killed in the battle, and over 1,000 Somalis suffered the same fate. Many considered the mission to be a failure, but just 3 years later, Mohammed Farah Aidid was killed in battle with a rival clan, ending his reign of terror. The events of this battle were famously documented in the 2001 film Black Hawk Down, which touted the infamous tagline, "Leave no man behind." In recent years, arms trading in the Bakaara market was closed by the Islamic Courts Union in an attempt to control the violence within the region. Messages of support for the removal of arms are present throughout the entire market. Though this urban region may appear battered and broken, the civilians remain hopeful for the future. So we here at Call of Duty Origins urge you to set aside your differences and toss away your weapons so that we can all enjoy a quiet, peaceful, multiplayer experience together. I'm just kidding. Go whoop some ass. Thank you for watching. Join us every Wednesday for new episodes of Call of Duty Origins here on Machinima Respawn. Next week, you may already know the backstory, but you've never seen it like this. 1 week from today, we head to Terminal. I hope you enjoyed the video, and feel free to join me at youtube.com/DenkOps. I'll see you soon. What's up, Respawn? I am the Denk, and before we start today's episode, I just wanted to make a brief announcement. Last week I mentioned that today's episode would be covering Terminal, but due to the terrible events in Colorado just a few days ago, I thought it might be best to hold off on the Terminal story this week. A lot of you are familiar with the backstory of Terminal, and I think you can understand why telling that story might not be the best choice for this week's episode under the circumstances. So instead today, we're going to take it in a different direction, and I have another special edition episode of Call of Duty Origins. If you enjoyed the Nuketown episode a few weeks back, I think you'll definitely enjoy this one as well. So sit back and enjoy episode 9 of Call of Duty Origins, a special look at Bootleg.
The following video is a work of fiction and is for entertainment purposes only. Troller discretion is advised.
Welcome to Call of Duty Origins, an original and unprecedented look at the unique histories and secrets of the many multiplayer maps we conquer every day. Each one has an untold story. Each one has a life of its very own. Today, on a special edition of Call of Duty Origins, we hit the streets of Bangkok, Thailand for the story of Bootleg. As we pan over the city of Bangkok, the dark clouds and rainfall appear to be setting the stage for a dark, tragic backstory. But that couldn't be farther from the truth. Though it does experience its fair share of crime like any major city, our story today focuses on the bright and energetic sights and sounds of downtown Bangkok. So join me as we take a closer look at this beautiful urban area. Whether it be markets, coffee shops, jewelry stores, hotels, or restaurants, the streets of downtown Bangkok have it all. Though the rattling of the railroads above the area can be quite noisy and overbearing, overall, locals and tourists are still able to experience an enjoyable night on the town. Due to the large late-night crowds on the weekends, it's not uncommon for a street fight or two to break out between some of the locals. It's usually a good idea to try to stay out of it because some of the fighters can be quite skilled.
Tiger uppercut!
One very popular establishment is All Kind of DVD and Video, which specializes in, well, DVDs and videos. But what makes this a hot spot for local customers is its wide selection of pirated films, which helped this section of the strip earn the nickname Bootleg. Not to mention the fact that it's been robbed like 14 times. As far as restaurants and eating establishments are concerned, there are many options here in downtown Bangkok, including the world-famous Tom Yum Kung restaurant, named after its owner and founder, Tom Yum Kung. However, word on the street is that it'd be wise to avoid the newly opened Thai Dishes Authentic Cuisine. I don't know the whole story, but what I do know is that since its opening just a few short weeks ago, a number of locals have complained about their cats disappearing in the middle of the night. Coincidence? You decide. Another major attraction in Bangkok is the historic Golden Buddha. It's been said that since it was constructed decades ago, the statue has brought good fortune to everyone in the region. Well, everyone except, the cats. But the one hotspot that really takes the cake is the infamous Thailand Big Smile Massage Parlor. Though it may not look like much on the inside, there's a reason it has rave reviews on Yelp.com. The friendly and helpful staff are sure to make your visit a memorable one. Next time you stop in, be sure to ask for the red curtain special. You'll thank me later. All in all, out of every area we visited so far, Bootleg seems to be the one that has something for everybody. So the next time you need to get away and you're looking for an exciting new place to visit, you should look no further than downtown Bangkok, Thailand. So as we wrap up our visit to Bootleg, we here at Call of Duty Origins would like to thank you for your continued support. And you know what? It feels nice to be able to finally bring you an origin story with a happy ending. Thank you for watching. Join us every Wednesday for new episodes of Call of Duty Origins here on Machinima Respawn. I hope you enjoyed the video, and feel free to join me at youtube.com/DenkOps. I'll see you soon.
The following video is a work of fiction and is for entertainment purposes only. Troller discretion is advised.
Welcome to Call of Duty Origins, an original and unprecedented look at the unique histories and secrets of the many multiplayer maps we conquer every day. Each one has an untold story. Each one has a life of its very own. Today, we take a look inside one of the most highly requested maps we've documented thus far, as we uncover the tragedy behind Modern Warfare 2's Terminal. Moscow, Russia. Zakhaev International Airport. For residents of Russia, the mere thought of this airport sends chills down their spines. The tragedy that took place within this building will forever haunt those who were lucky enough to survive it. The story that follows contains details and visuals that may be inappropriate for some viewers. We advise you to proceed with caution. For the civilians in the airport, the day began like any other. Lines were long, bathrooms were crowded, but spirits were high. Families awaited the arrival of their loved ones, businessmen and women prepared for their long flights, and couples were setting off on their honeymoon. But not a single one of them could ever have been able to predict the horror that was approaching. Little did they know, behind these elevator doors awaited one of the world's most wanted terrorists. A man with no sympathy, no compassion, no soul. A man with one thing on his mind: chaos.
Remember, no Russian.
Makarov and his men slowly made their way through the airport, firing at everything that moved. Men, women, children, airport employees, police officers, all fell victim to this heinous assault. Makarov ordered his men not to speak Russian during the massacre, in an attempt to trick the people of Russia into believing that this was an American assault. Upon exiting the airport, several Russian FSB teams arrived in armored trucks and converged on Makarov and his men. But they were able to make their way across the tarmac and approach their getaway vehicle. But before fleeing the airport, Makarov laid down the final piece of the puzzle.
There's no message. This is a message.
The American thought he could deceive us. When they find that body, all of Russia will cry for war.
Makarov killed the undercover American, Joseph Allen, aware of his betrayal the entire time. The people of Russia now believed that this horrific terrorist attack was carried out and supported by America. The events of this day and the actions of Makarov led to an all-out assault on the United States by the Russians. And only a short time later, World War III would begin. And all it took was the will of a single man. In the years following the war, Zakhaev International Airport remained closed. It's currently under complete renovation and reconstruction in an attempt to persuade the people of Russia to return. The bookstore at the heart of the airport has been turned into an electronics outlet, and the burger town that sits in the corner of the terminal has translated its signs and menus back to Russian. But no coat of paint could ever remove the haunting memories that remain with the civilians who witnessed this tragic event. A treaty has since been signed between the American and Russian governments, and both nations hope to build a lasting peace that may inspire others to do the same. For in the wise words of Omar Nelson Bradley, the world has achieved brilliance without wisdom, power without conscience. Ours is a world of nuclear giants and ethical infants. We know more about war than we know about peace. Thank you for watching. Join us every Wednesday for new episodes of Call of Duty Origins here on Machinima Respawn. I hope you enjoyed the video, and feel free to join me at youtube.com/DenkOps. I'll see you soon.